Every day, all over the Earth, all of the waves combined have a wave potential of generating 29,500 terawatt hours of electricity per year. To put that into perspective, the United States in 2020 used 3.8 terawatt hours. And here is how that energy production is divided up. Only 11% to renewable, but still not even close to the amount of potential energy generated by waves. So why haven't we dove deeper into this? Well, this turned into quite an interesting story, and this topic just became so exciting to me. Because when you think of solar and wind, you can immediately picture what that looks like. But when I say wave energy, nothing comes to my mind. I don't know about you. So I started looking into solutions, and what I discovered is that every single idea that I found was fundamentally different. Everyone who is thinking about this problem is trying to solve it differently. So let's go back and start at the beginning. Hi everybody, this video is sponsored by me. Gotcha. There's no sponsors, but I make videos every Wednesday. I'd love if you subscribe and join. We do live streams, we post a video. It's a good time. It's a good time. Okay, enjoy the video. When I was a kid, and I was a weird kid, when I would get bored, I would just wander around my house and open up drawers and just find something to play with. Not saying that I still do that, but I do that. I still do that. And as I wandered around, I found this. It's like one of those radios that your parents force you to take and keep so that when the power goes out, you can play the radio or something, hear a emergency outbreak. It's almost like they've never heard of cell phones. But this thing got me thinking about how relatively simple it is to generate electricity. And that simple thought grew into more complex thought. I've always lived on the water, so I've always known about the power of waves. I remember when a hurricane came through where I lived and it ripped the dock up. There was people kayaking down what were our roads just because everything was flooded. On the news, I see a big wave just decimate a city. A way I recharge my creative battery is I go down to the beach that's near my house and I climb on these rocks and I just listen to the waves. I've lived here a year and a half and I've never truly felt like this was my place, but I think I finally found my spot. This is amazing. And one day I was sitting out there as the waves rose and fell. I thought to myself, couldn't there be a way when the water comes up and then goes back down and then comes back up again and goes back down, completely out of control of a human being? Couldn't that generate electricity? I came back and I went down this rabbit hole. I found out some amazing stuff. Here's the first idea. Meet wave swell, a shallow water solution that generates electricity from the rising and falling of the water level created by waves. But interestingly, it's not actually the waves generating the power. It's air pressure. Take a funnel and a Mario pipe and then an airplane engine. This contraption sits on a concrete structure in shallow water. As water rises, it forces air up that funnel and into the turbine, spinning the turbine. The spinning of that turbine is what actually generates the power, and the power is taken ashore via cable. Cool! Now here's why I love this idea so much. One, they figured out when the water came up and down, obviously, as the air pushed up, the turbine would spin this way, and then when it would pull back down, it would spin the other way. Flipping that engine back and forth was not the right idea, so they created an escape, so when the air comes up, it flows out, and then when it pulls down, that like vacuum that it creates inside the funnel as the water retreats is a lot more air. And in that regard, it became more efficient. This idea was so exciting because it just challenged the way I thought about solving this problem. Like I said earlier, I thought this was going to be flotation devices that would be reacting to the waves, not air pressure. Okay, idea number 2. Check out the wave carpet, designed by students, professors, and researchers at Berkeley. They decided to look at the floor of the ocean, and their studies found that a mud bottom absorbed a lot more waves than sand. When they looked into why, they discovered that the mud is moving with the waves. So they created a carpet to react to the waves like mud. This idea absorbs waves to make them smaller, and as the carpet lifts and retracts, pistons attached to the bottom go up and down. Now, I thought these would be like those shake flashlights that generate power when the thing goes up and down, but they actually pump water through a tube to shore. What's cool is they hold the pressure through that tube as it goes to shore. So when it gets there, it can be forced through either a turbine to generate power or directly through a desalination plant to create fresh water. No extra power needed. Potentially built-in desalination is just so awesome. I guess when I was in school, I never learned that energy doesn't always mean electricity. Energy can be the pressure of the water in that tube coming to shore forcing itself through a turbine, generating power. That's just so dope. Okay, before we move on, there's one kind of concept that I want to talk about really quick. Okay, so obviously I'm way too excited about this, and I wanted to kind of level that with 3 reasons that this idea isn't really mainstream just yet. And there's just 3. Well, there's kind of a 4th one, but the first one is efficiency. It seems that there's a long way to go to really get these things to be mega efficient. And I don't have any really specific numbers here, but from what I was learning, a lot of these solutions don't directly line up with, say, solar and wind. Those things are much more efficient, and that's probably just because we've just poured a lot of resources into doing it. The second is durability, and this one completely slipped my mind when I was originally thinking about this idea. It's obvious, the ocean is strong, and putting anything in the ocean, you're kind of just subjecting it to that. Say there's a storm, or there's a big surge, or riptides, or your machine can just get like totally up underwater. So that has to be taken into consideration. Other forms of renewable energy are a lot more protected because there isn't this gigantic force just trying to constantly destroy it. And the third is accessibility. This makes sense because, well, anything that's out in the water, you would need a boat to get out to it. And say it's too choppy, you can't go out to it. Or say it's like storming, you can't go out there and fix it. If it's underwater, it's gonna take forever to fix that. The last one that's kind of the 4th point is I wrote here, seawater is salty AF. I would assume that seawater would just absolutely destroy any metals you try and build into this thing over time. That sounds rough. I don't have a solution for that. All right, idea 3. The wave piston floats on top of the water, connected by a tube through the middle. These plates move back and forth as waves hit them. Similar to idea number 2, as the plates move, they pump water back to shore. Again, same thing. Push it through a turbine to generate power, or straight into desalinization. It's a really cool idea. I'm a little worried about durability, but it's super unique, and I think that's great. Idea number 4. The wave roller is a shallow water wave energy solution. To me, it looks like a stretched out bowling pin waving back and forth. Panels move back and forth with the waves. Then in a control room underneath, a hydraulic system generates electricity. I love that this idea immediately generates the electricity on site. No pumping water to shore, just right there. Only issue I see is that it's completely submerged underwater, so if something goes wrong, I am not sure how someone is gonna fix this. Pretty cool, it can also read the weather so it knows when a big storm is coming to protect itself, but because it's pretty massive, it can take some serious waves. Pretty cool idea. The last idea is the simplest and smallest. It can be easily installed on breakwalls, jetties, and docks. They actually call it an onshore solution. As the waves crash into the breakwall, the floater goes up and down. This directly moves a hydraulic piston, and an onshore power station turns it into electricity. This thing is tiny compared to others, and just one generates enough power for 2 homes. I know that because they were kind of one of the only companies willing to share how much power they generated. I tried. Anyone who lives on any shore could easily install this like under their dock. It's out of the way and they're good to go. I love this idea. This last idea is my favorite because it seems the simplest, the one that could just be installed and put in places that have existed for years and almost affects no humans. It's smart enough to know when a storm is coming to put itself away and keep it safe because the ocean can just destroy these ideas in a matter of minutes if they're not cared for properly. Just crazy. I very recently am starting to come to terms with my effect on the environment, and I want to figure out what impact I can have. Even if that impact is just storytelling for now, it's something. I don't have a lot of money to donate, and I don't really know what I can personally do to help very often because the problems just seem so overwhelming. When I think about wave energy, it's terrifying because it's like engineering and science and math that I just don't know. I still don't understand electricity. Like when they're saying volts, watts, and amps. Yeah, I don't know what any of that is. I don't understand that. Creativity and art shows up in the weirdest places, and it's such a cool opportunity to take a look at wave energy as something that has yet to be defined. Every idea that I've looked at, and I've probably looked at over like 20, 25 different ideas, and almost all of them are fundamentally different in the way that they tackle harnessing power from the water. One of my biggest fears is being a filmmaker who makes films about making films. I have no problem with that. I respect it. I need people like that because that's the only way I learn how to do what I do. But the stories need to be told. And as a filmmaker, when your interest is piqued, you enter this different state of working on a project. It's not what you're doing, it's all that you think about. It's just all consuming. And renewable energy has just become that for me because it seems like a problem that has yet to be solved, and I still don't know how to solve it, and I don't think I will ever be able to solve it. Waves just offer such an uncaptured potential. These happen no matter what. Thank you. Good job. Great. Oh my God. Oh shit. Oh my God. Oh God. Oh my God. Don't poop on me.
Is it?